So Crypto Universe, I'm back with another video, and today I wanted to talk about Solana as well as a YouTuber who exposed some crypto scams in the Philippines. But first I wanted to talk about Solana here, but real quick, make sure you guys like and subscribe. But this is a story from the Crypt talking about Solana ETF applicants submitting updated SEC filings with staking. Prospective Solana ETF issuers in the United States submitted updated SEC filings Friday, suggesting approvals may be may be near. 7 ETF issuers filed amended S1 forms for Solana exchange traded funds with the US SEC on Friday, clarifying language that would enable them to stake their held Solana. The proposed ETFs from 21 Shares, Bitwise, Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, Grayscale, Van Eck, and Canary Capital aim to offer investors exposure to Solana by directly tracking the altcoin. The staking component would enable issuers to generate yield on the Solana held in their funds, allowing them to potentially offer higher returns to investors. Friday's moves comes following a Tuesday reports from Blockworks, which cited sources saying that the SEC asked prospective Solana ETF issuers to update their S1 filings. Staking refers to the process of pledging tokens to a decentralized network in exchange for yield or financial rewards. So pretty much, I'm not gonna say all, but most cryptos that you've seen come out over the past like 5 years, most of them have some sort of staking mechanism in their ecosystem. You see now even XRP has staking available on platforms like Flare. But continuing here, the rash of filings comes as a U.S. regulators and lawmakers ratchet back restrictions on the digital assets industry, and amid speculation that the SEC will soon greenlight Solana ETFs to trade in the United States. Under pro-crypto U.S. President Donald Trump, the digital assets industry's two primary regulators, the SEC and the CFTC, have shifted their approach to crypto, including the SEC dropping lawsuits against industry giants like Binance, Coinbase, and Kraken. Commissioners have also ramped up their engagement with crypto companies over the past few months, with the aim to collaborate on shaping regulatory guardrails for the industry. Federal regulators' softening stances on crypto regulations has spurred an explosion in applications for ETFs based on a wide variety of cryptocurrencies, from meme coins such as Dogecoin, official Trump coin, and Bonk coin, to altcoins like XRP, Sui, and Avalanche. However, the agency has yet to approve spot ETFs based on cryptocurrencies other than Ethereum and Bitcoin. Although expert issuers to secure the go-ahead offer for Solana ETFs in the United States within the next few weeks, the approval process has been a long one. In May, the SEC pushed back its deadline to approve or deny a swath of spot Solana ETFs. So, even though you clearly see there's been a delay, I think it's inevitable you're going to see a Solana ETF. I also believe you're going to see ETFs from other coins such as XRP as well as Avalanche, which they pointed out in this article here from Decrypt. The only question is when. I don't think it'll happen this year, to be honest with you. I think this is probably something that will be pushed back till maybe 2026. But maybe I'm being a little too conservative about it or too pessimistic, and I'm not really pessimistic. I think it'll be fine. I think they will come. I just don't believe it's gonna be this summer, but that's neither here nor there. Let me know if you believe that the Solana ETF will be approved by the SEC. But the next story I wanted to get into here is from Cointelegraph, and it's talking about how a YouTuber hacked an 800,000 crypto scam in Cebu, Philippines. So in Cebu, Philippines, A scams call center ran a sophisticated $800,000 crypto fraud from the second floor of a skyrise building in Cebu. I don't know if it's pronounced Cebu or Cebu, but Cebu IT Park, using fake investment products like Quantum AI and Bitcoin Code. Leveraging the Philippines' low labor costs and strong English skills, the fraudulent investment group operated to scam unsuspecting victims in South Africa, Nigeria, and the Gulf countries, promising high returns to allure deposits. Earlier, it used to target people in Canada, the UK, and European countries. The scammers have been operating under different names such as BMJ Data Processing Services, Virtual Wealth Exchange, Solace Markets, BTC Boutique, and more. YouTube content creator MRWN, I don't know if that's pronounced Merwin, but it's spelled MRWN. He hacked into the scammers' operations, gaining access to their CCTV and internal systems. He kept a watch over the group for more than a year before confronting the group's boss, triggering panic and forcing them to go offline. Wow. Oh my goodness. The scammers used a calculating mix of psychological manipulation, fake product pitches, and poor data security practices to defraud unsuspecting victims. What appeared to be a legitimate business on the surface was, in reality, a well-organized crime syndicate and scam syndicate. Here is how the operation worked. The scammers relied on a 14-page call script that sounded professional and sincere to the victims. Calls began with a warm greeting, followed by a pitch for fake investment platforms like Quantum AI and Bitcoin Code. The script led to the goal of convincing victims to make an initial deposit. So obviously that's mistake number one. If people are calling you, trying to get you to deposit crypto onto their exchange, that should be a major red flag. But we do also have to remember that most people, to this day, most people still are not fully aware of the crypto market as a whole. But there's not going to be a moment where exchanges are going to call you and say, hey, how are you doing? Please, we have these opportunities for you to make all this money. Please deposit, I don't know, $100 or $1,000 into this exchange or whatever. That's obviously a red flag. Continuing here, agents use psychological pressure to manipulate victims' behavior. For instance, to lure victims, the fraudsters made promises of 30 to 40% weekly returns. And of course, the real quick side note, this is another downside to the crypto spaces, because many people who aren't super familiar with it, the one thing they have heard is that people are out here making boatloads of money. So it doesn't sound too far-fetched when these scammers are contacting people and pitching them this idea of some exchange that can make them 30 to 40% weekly returns. Agents deceive victims using multiple tactics, such as stealing credit card information and pressuring individuals to send cryptocurrency through Bitcoin ATMs. And of course, they want them to send the Bitcoin, they want them to send crypto through the Bitcoin ATMs, because even though most blockchains are public, that of course would still make it a little more difficult for the police to try to track them, especially if they're doing this in a different country. It's usually just going to become a very muddy situation, which unfortunately causes a lot of people to get screwed over. But continuing here, the scammers had a voluminous amount of critical data belonging to victims that they could sell on dark web markets. This is definitely just sad, man. But now they go into how the YouTuber MRWN was able to discover this and get involved in it. So the YouTuber himself, he received a suspicious call so basically they were targeting him at one point, like not realizing that he's not somebody that you should play with, obviously. So he infiltrated the call center. He identified the key players. Again, like I stated earlier in the article, he hacked into their CCTV camera footage, so their security cameras. He hacked into it, saw what was happening, and he was able to collect some hard evidence. He also started to call people out, and he was able to find out that they made approximately $820,000 annually, with $365,000 in net profit after rent and salaries for paying all these people for this scamming. And I wanted to put this out there just to drive home the simple point of being as careful as possible, because even though this is a market with massive potential, things can still go left very quickly, and there's a lot of scams. There's an overabundance of scams, and that's just something I hope people keep in mind, especially because I was mainly making this channel targeting people who are just trying to get into crypto, like crypto for beginners. So that's really the number one thing people have to be aware of, is the scams out there. There's so many. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button.